of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources. And I'd like to take just a few minutes to kind of bring the discussion down from what Willie's office does, which as the Kaffner International Office deal with agencies to bring training grants into the college and technical assistance work into the college, to bring it down to the individual faculty initiated projects. Because you know, when you talk about a land grant university, the action is really with the faculty. That's where everything happens. And so, you know, faculty initiated international engagement can involve research. It can involve outreach or extension, demonstration, however you want to title that. It can involve training or teaching. And oops, I'm supposed to do that, I guess. There we go. Or it can involve some combination of those in any particular project. So I was interested in trying to gauge the amount of faculty engagement in international activity. So on an annual basis, the faculty in our college enter their annual performance data in an online performance system, and then we can go in and kind of mine that information. And we don't specifically have people respond to international engagement, but we can go in and kind of infer it from some of the things that they say. So this is just an inference. So in the year 2012, we have about 230 faculty in the college. 49 reported international activity on their annual performance reports. And we tried to break those out by category just to give an idea of what that engagement is. So so 33 we could classify as research activities, 18 as outreach activities, 9 as a combination of research and outreach activities, 10 training activities, and then 15 were international, but we weren't quite sure what box to put them in. So, I was kind of interested in seeing these numbers. That's a total of about 85 different activities that were reported in 2012. And 49 faculty is something over 20% of our faculty in the college. So I don't know if that's a good level of involvement, a bad level of involvement, but it's actually the first time I've had any handle on the percentage of involvement. So it's informative to me, if no one else. What I thought I would do is, again, trying to bring this down to a more focused discussion or a faculty-focused discussion, is run through very quickly 4 examples of faculty-led international projects. And then both Bob and Jill will talk in more detail about activities that they are personally engaged in. There's a lot more material on each of these slides than we really need to know about, but I thought if this becomes a record, it'd be nice to have the information there. But trying to give you just a flavor of the different types of activities that some of our faculty are engaged with. So Meng-Chi Lin is an associate professor in our food science program, and he is doing is engaged in a collaborative effort with Jinan University in China to look at food safety and the changing demands of food safety in a global economy, and how to protect our food supply, specifically how to combat the transmission of contaminated foods through the global food chain. So here's a collaboration, MU and a university in China. Francisco Aguilar is an assistant professor in our forestry program. This is the project that Willie made reference to about biodigesters, the collaborative project with Mali and Senegal in order to try to utilize and enhance utilization and the replacement of firewood with alternative sources of energy for cooking using biodigesters that can be adapted to African countries. Bill Folk is a professor of biochemistry and happens to be sitting right across from me in the first row over here. Bill leads a center that we call TCIPS, the International Center for Indigenous Phytotherapy Studies. This is a collaborative effort between University of Missouri and Columbia, our sister campus in Kansas City, the Missouri Botanical Garden, and then in the Republic of South Africa, Western Cape University, and KwaZulu-Natal University. KwaZulu-Natal is the province in South Africa that you saw in that last slide that Willie showed, and a hospital in South Africa as well. And they're looking to study traditional and complementary and alternative medicines used by Africans to manage systems of HIV, AIDS, and secondary infections and chronic diseases. So the use of medicinal plants and how to make them effectively and safely adopted in not only in South Africa, but other countries in that region. And the last one I want to touch on is another agroforestry example. Shabu Jose is a professor of forestry, and he's the director of our Center for Agroforestry. And we have here at the University of Missouri the leading temperate center for agroforestry in the world. And Shabu is in the process of signing the subcontracts on all of this. But he is part of a U.S.-India consortium to develop sustainable advanced lignocellulosic biofuel systems. And this is a collaborative effort between MU, University of Florida, University of Florida, Virginia Tech, Montclair State University in this country, ICRISAT, the India Institute of Chemical Technology, Indian Institute of Technology, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, other entities, including the private sector in both countries, both Missouri, Florida, and in India, to enhance advanced lignocellulosic biofuel systems. So these are the kinds of activities that our faculty, and I think our faculty are just representative of faculty at any land-grant university, be it Purdue or Iowa State, Florida, NC State, you name it, that are engaged in these kinds of activities. I just want to quickly make comments because there were so many fascinating things discussed in the panel earlier, and I'm fascinated and delighted that USAID is getting $3.2 billion for the Feed the Future program. But when you think about feeding the future, you really have to feed the knowledge platform. We talked about the technology platform. Well, we, in large part, the land-grant university system represents the knowledge platform. And we have our funding challenge. Agricultural research in this country represents 4,000th of 1% of the federal budget. 4,000th of 1% of the federal budget. The entire USDA discretionary budget, which is ag research, co-op extension, USDA ARS, is about 1,000th of 1% of the federal budget. So I just want to point that out because if we're to maintain and if we're to maintain our leadership in not only developing new technologies and new knowledge, but in training successive generations of people who are going to be partners around the world, we need to make sure that that pipeline doesn't dry up. And it is drying up, and we need to be proactive to make sure that it not only stays static, but in fact grows in order to meet this global challenge. Thank you.
Wow.